With Boko Haram insurgency in the northern part of Cameroon, the conflict in the northwest and the southwest region that has been baptized the Anglophone crisis, the Ambazonian War of Independence, the West Cameroon conflict, depending on which side of the aisle you stand, with the threat of the Seleka rebels in the eastern part of Cameroon. This has plunged Cameroon government into a limbo of looking for ways to arrest the situation across the triangle. It is just but normal for any government that is looking for peace to build an alliance with its neighbor, especially if the neighbor is capable of handling or providing help in making the country to become stable. Yes, the Nigerian government is well placed to help Cameroon in resolving the Boko Haram insurgency in the northern part of the nation and also the Anglophone crisis in the northwest and the southwest region by ensuring that the illegal sales of arms between the northwest and southwest borders in Nigeria should not be put in, the illegal sales of arms should not enter Cameroon, and also to stifle its borders in such a way that Nigeria should not serve as a safe haven for secessionist movement. But the question we should be asking ourselves as honest people is that, looking at the state that Nigeria is at this point in time, can Nigeria offer help to Cameroon in resolving the conflict in the northwest and the southwest region, and also the Boko Haram insurgency in the northern part of the nation? Let us look at Nigeria as it is now. First, Nigeria is faced with Biafran movement that is coming up across 6 states as a molten magma. Currently, it is at the level where the Anglophone crisis started. Now, Nigeria is looking for ways to cool down the Biafran secessionist movement, and also the just crisis in Plateau State, where hundreds of people have been killed within the last 2 weeks. Looking at Zamfara, Katsina State, and Kaduna State, these states have become a harbor for kidnappers, where hundreds of schools have closed down within the last 6 months in Katsina, Kaduna State, and Zamfara State. Kidnappings of school children and villagers have become a new normal in these 3 states. And also looking at the Niger Delta Avengers and the galloping way of insecurity across other states in Nigeria, not to forget the fact of unemployment within Nigeria and the NSAS movement, which is still very active in Nigeria, and the chaotic situation in Nigeria. I am asking the question now again, can a partially stabilized Nigeria help an almost stabilized Cameroon in resolving the conflict between the Cameroon and Nigeria alliance in the fight against secessionist movement and the Boko Haram insurgency? Who will benefit the more? Who is in dire need of peace and stability between both nations? Can Nigeria-Cameroon alliance produce meaningful results in stabilizing both countries? Yes, in the 1967, when the Biafra movement started, Cameroon played an integral role in helping to reduce or helping go on to win or to defeat the Biafra movement. That Cameroon was still stable, and Cameroon was stable by doing that. But now Nigeria is unstable. Can they return the favor? This is House of Commons. With me, TAH MAI JAVIS.
Since 1993, EUG is 3 schools: ESG, ISTA, ISA, 3 ultra-modern campuses with more than 40 specialties in BTS, HND, DCEP, professional bachelors and professional masters. More than 15,000 graduates and more than 150 million francs scholarships granted to students. Many national and international partnerships, and more is still to come. At EUG,
we train leaders since 1993.
You're welcome back from that transition. If you are just joining us, you're watching House of Commons with me, TAH MAI JAVIS. This is a program that comes up every Sunday at exactly 12 to 1:30 p.m. and rebroadcasts every Sunday at exactly 10:30, Monday at 9:30. This program will talk about current issues and political issues affecting the nation and also social issues. To kickstart today's edition, we are looking at Nigeria, Cameroon, fighting NOOSE on separatist movement. Any hope for stability? I'll begin the program by introducing to you my guests with whom we are going to discuss on 1 hour 30 minutes here at our studio at Fengu Jombang, Cameroon's economic capital, Douala. Pa Suleiman, it's a privilege to have you. You are of the Social Democratic Movement Party. You are from Kumba. Happy Sunday to you.
Yeah, alaikum salam. Hi, Tah Javis. Hi, members of the crew of my Media Prime. Hi, my panelists, and hi, our listeners out there. We have converged again at the studio one of my Media Prime to talk about some of the salient issues bedeviling our society, our country, and Africa in general. So just stay put and hear how we digest some of the issues that will be posed to us by Mr. Tah Javis.
Thank you very much. And also here in the studio, we have no other person than Dibum Emmanuel. He is a civil society advocate and someone that has always been at the forefront of ensuring that we look at this conflict from an objective position without going towards political lineage and without looking at it from our personal interest. But let us put the interest of the common man on the center, regardless of whose side of the aisle you stand for. And Dibum Emmanuel, Ayisima?
Tulaima Bobe. Well, I want to send out special greetings to all the million viewers of my Media Prime, especially the program House of Commons. This is where the voice of the common man is heard. And to you people who are in the diaspora, we have a massive viewing at the diaspora. This is another afternoon that we'll be looking at things that have been plaguing Cameroon. And it is worth noting here that it is because of our patriotism that we still accept to come to platforms like this and discuss what the government has refused to be discussed. Happy viewing.
Thank you very much. We await the arrival of Dr. Ako John Ako, who will be joining us as the discussion unfolds. He is on his way and he's been stuck in traffic. And here in the studio we have Anu Nick Alele.
Alele TAH MAI JAVIS. Alele Ngomle BLM. Good morning to each and every Cameroonian out there. Thanks for having me in the House of Commons for the very first time. And good morning to our millions of televiewers out there. Good morning to our fellow panelists that were about to discuss the issues at the moment, the issues plaguing our nation, and to propose meaningful solutions in order to resolve them. So I look forward to having a fruitful discussion this afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And also we, as I earlier indicated, that we shall be receiving Dr. Ako John Ako. Those of you who are from the Manulan arena, and happy Sunday to all those of you watching us from the diaspora, watching us from different parts of the nation. And want to say happy Sunday to you too. Earlier I pointed out that we shall be looking at Cameroon, Nigeria, tightening NOOSE on separatists, any hope on stability for both countries. I'll begin with you, Mr. Suleiman. I understand that between the period of 1967, when the Nigerian-Biafra Civil War, you have knowledge about it because some of maybe at the time you were still young and your parents experienced it, informed you about what happened, and you grew up and understand, some of the intricacy. I want to get to you to find out, looking at the current state that Cameroon is now and Nigeria is. Can Nigeria help Cameroon? Because we understand that Cameroon helped Nigeria in 1967.
Yeah, I went to university in Nigeria. I went to Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, and I graduated in 1995.
Okay.
The BSc degree. So what I will tell you is that this is a very important topic for discussion. Very, very important. Because when you look at the genesis of Nigerian crisis, Chukwu Emeka Kaduna Nzegu was a major in the army. He's the one who started the first school in Nigeria. He launched the first school in Nigeria by overthrowing the legitimate government of Abubakar Tafawa Balewa. When he overthrew the government of Abubakar Tafawa Balewa, he killed all the Northerners He killed Abubakar Tafawa Balewa, Prime Minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He killed the Premier of Northern Nigeria, Amadou Bello, say Amadou Bello. He killed the Minister of Defense, Ribadu. He killed all senior military officers of the North, Larjema, Kur Mohammed, and the rest. He killed them. And what did he do? He brought Ironsi, Agui Ironsi, from the Congo. That's the first general we have in Africa, a Sandhorse trained general, Thomas Agui Ironsi. He was the first general we have in Africa. He was commanding the United Nations peacekeeping forces in the Congo. When we talk of Lumumba, Kasavubu, Mochombe, yes, and Tonge, yes, Mobutu, he was the one commanding those at that time of the crisis in the Congo. He was appointed by Dasamajok
over the Katanga province.
Exactly. He was appointed by Dasamajok, who was the UN Secretary General. Ironsi brought him back. Chukwuemeka Kaduna Nzegu brought him back to be head of state and commander in chief, an Igbo man. He was the first. That was the first coup in Nigeria, and he was carried by the Igbos. So Igbo people started coup in Nigeria. Nigeria never knew of coups. Igbo started it, and he brought Ironsi. When he brought Ironsi, what did he do? Ironsi promoted 21 lieutenant colonels. After that 21 lieutenant colonels, 19 were Igbos. One was Hassan Usman Katsina from the north, and one was Fajui from the west. Ojukwu was that a governor. Chukwuemeka Odumegu Ojukwu was the governor of Eastern Region at that time. What happened now? 1967, when they took their coup, 1st January. 6 months later, the Nigerians took their coup. This very Buhari was among them. By that time, he was a sub-lieutenant. Babangida, Abacha, Buhari, this Obasanjo were all sub-lieutenant. Murtala Mohammed, all of them later became president. They were the one who took the return march and overthrew the government of Agui Ironsi, killed Agui Ironsi, killed Zegu, killed Igbo officers too, in retaliation. But Ojukwu was not killed, because Ojukwu was not part of Nzegu's coup. Ojukwu his life was spared. That is the blatant truth. His life was spared. Now, when the Nigerians turned around and saw that the most senior military officer in the north at that time was General Yakubu Gowon, yes, with the rank of a lieutenant colonel. Because all Babangida, Buhari, Abacha, all the way, sub-lieutenant and lieutenant. Gowon was the only senior officer at that time who was not killed Mazegu with the rank of lieutenant colonel. So they say, okay, that time in Nigeria, there was no tribalism, there was no favoritism, there was no religious differences. They say, oh, come on, Gowon, take over the mantle of leadership of commander-in-chief. Gowon took over, Ojukwu set over his dead body. He cannot allow Gowon to command him because he is senior in rank. They were all lieutenant colonels, but Gowon got his own before Ojukwu. Ojukwu got his own before Gowon. So Ojukwu said he cannot pay allegiance to Gowon. That was not how they were taught at Sandhurst in Britain. No. He is a senior military officer to Gowon, and Gowon cannot be commanding him. Ojukwu said this is impossible. That was when Ojukwu ran to Awolowo in Western region, who was the premier of Western Nigeria, and met Awolowo and told him that, yes, Jeremiah Obafemi Awolowo, he said, look, let's divide this country into 3. Let the Biafran Republic go its way. Let Oduduwa Republic of the Yoruba go their way. Let the Northerners give them anything they want to give. The Hausa Fulani of the North, give us anything you want to give. Awolowo was very bitter with the Igbos, because when he came back from school, he saw that the politics of Western Nigeria, the economy of Western Nigeria was all dominated by the Igbos. The Igbos control the politics. There were even members of Igbos in the Western Regional House of Assembly under NCNC of Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe.
Yeah.
Awolowo could not contain this. Economically, Western Nigeria is boomed by Igbo business people. They were controlling all contracts, all businesses, they built all good houses. Awolowo said no. There was no Yoruba man in Eastern Regional House of Assembly. But here we have Yoruba people, Igbo people in Western Regional Assembly. So when Ojukwu brought that idea to him, he said, what a brilliant idea. What an excellent idea. He said, come on, go and declare Biafra. I will declare Oduduwa Republic. But on one condition. Let all people of southeastern Nigeria, the Igbos, the Efiks, the Ogonis, the Andunis of Port Harcourt or Bayelsa State, or the Ibibios of Akwa State, let them go. Let everybody resign from any political position having in Western region of Nigeria and go back to the Biafra Republic. So all they resigned, all went to the new country called the Republic of Biafra. When they went, what happened?
Awolowo betrayed.
Awolowo replaced all those positions with Yoruba people. He replaced all with Yoruba, all. After consolidating Yoruba position in the Western region and his position as Prime Minister, he He turned to Ojukwu and said, I am for one Nigeria,
And
indivisible and indissoluble Nigeria.
He went back to go on.
Well, I'm coming. He said, indivisible and indissoluble Nigeria. That's what Abono did. He told Ojukwu clear. Ojukwu said, but this is not what we agreed upon. This is what our agreement. He said, no, I will not be the one to destroy Nigeria, to divide Nigeria. I will not do it. Ojukwu said, I have already declared Biafra. I have got my central bank, I've printed my Biafran currency, I've made my coat of arms, I've made my flag, I've made my national anthem. There's no way. It's a republic. Biafra is a republic. I would also say, I'm not part of it. That's how the Yorubas and the Northerners joined together and fought the Igbos in the Civil War. You understand? That would, if I've just summarized everything for you, that's how the Yorubas now teamed up and with the Northerners fought the Igbos now.
Now, for the Cameroon Alliance, briefly, sir, we move to the other member. I wanted this background so that we now move into the debate itself. Within this context, as Cameroon was stable to help Nigeria, to help go on to win the war. Now, looking at Nigeria instability now, can they help Cameroon? Yeah,
let me tell you, you have asked a very good question again. Let me tell you something. The role that the former president did, the late Amadou Ahidjo, he played an important role in destroying Biafra. He played an important role to help Nigeria to defeat Biafra, because he stationed troops at Bakassi. That was the only main route the Biafra got for food and ammunition to reach the Biafran soldiers. Food was not coming. That was the downfall. That was the beginning of the downfall of the Biafran army. So food was not coming, and the federal government was bombing. So what happened? Ojukwu has to bring his helicopter. He absconded to Cote d'Ivoire, to Abidjan, where he met the former president Felix Houphouët-Boigny, and he received him. And the only person who was remaining as a commander, the second in command to Ojukwu, was General Charles Sefiam from Calabar. He was the one who surrendered to the federal troops. He gave commander, all Biafran commanders should lay their arms and raise their hands up and surrender in military style. And that was done. And immediately Gawan gave orders that the war should stop. And Gawan make a reconciliation that there is no victor, there is no vanquish, there is no winner, there is no loser. Nigeria is one, Nigeria is united, stable, and what have you. He brought politics. That's how the war ended in 1970. So in the short, I've just given you a background information of how we are going to continue this discussion.
Okay, now you've gotten the details. I wanted Pastor Mai, because he has the background of Nigeria, lived the reality at the time. Looking at what we have now, the Nigerian-Cameroon alliance, can Nigeria and Cameroon tighten the loose knot? Because they both are facing a problem of insecurity, with Nigeria having a plateau of issues within the Zamfara, Katsina, and Kaduna states. Hundreds of schools have shut down within the last 6 months because of insecurity. Kidnapping has taken a different form of the day. But Cameroon is relying on Nigeria to tighten the borders between the northwest and the southwest region to prevent illegal sales of arms, and to ensure that the Imo states and the Calabar states are not, the Cross River states are not used as a harbor for secessionists or a safe haven for secessionist fighters. Can this produce results?
TAH MAI JAVIS, I wish to first of all appreciate Pa Suleiman for the brilliant historical background of how the Biafra War came into existence. Now, coming back to your question, I want to think that there is a portion in the Bible, in the book of Matthew, which says, before you remove a peck from your brother's eye, make sure that you first of all remove the lock that is in your eye. It is no history, it is no news that Nigeria, as an Anglo-Saxon country, has fallen into pool of disgrace by trying to fight a ghost that they cannot succeed. Now, let me just give you a brief run-off of how Anglophone crisis started. You know, back in the 60s, that is the genesis of the Anglophone crisis. The game that was played at Fumban, the game that Ahidjo played in 1972 during the referendum that never actually took place in reality. Now, Mr. Biya in 1984 changing the name from La République back from United Republic back to La République. Then, with the immediate causes of the Anglophone crisis that we are talking today. No, it's a war. That's something I keep telling people, that we have gone past the era of crisis. We are talking about a full-blown war that is in southern Cameroon. For this alliance to succeed, Tah Mai Javis, listen to me very well. Put it in your archives and tell the world years later that Dium Emmanuel said so. For it to succeed, look, Nigerians are following up. Let the Nigerian government go back to the errors of Fumba, start correcting them. Let the Nigerian government go back to the errors of the referendum in 1972, start correcting them. Let the Nigerian government...
But they are not into the
no, listen. Let Nigerian government go back to the change of the United Republic of Cameroon back to La République, and then let Nigerian government come in to talk about the first soul that went down in southern Cameroon, northwest and southwest, in November 2017. That was Akum Julius. When at that time the government was still spraying what they were calling it happy bullets on unarmed civilians. I did not hear the Nigerian government come in to caution the Cameroon government that, look, of which Nigerian government is a signatory to the human rights organization, just like Cameroon.
But maybe they never wanted to interfere in the territorial integrity of Cameroon.
And now, who told you that forming an alliance with Cameroon at this time is no longer interference?
No, it's Cameroon begging Nigeria that please, let's come to a partnership, a win-win.
Look,
as they did in 1967.
Before this one, remember that the Nigeria High Commissioner had been to Yaoundé on several occasions. Let me remind you that. Let me remind you on that one. And you need to understand that when these people say they are going into an alliance, there is Boko Haram, eradicating human beings in Nigeria like flies. They have not been able to hold it down. There is the Biafran war that for years Nigeria has not been able to stamp it out. And then who told them that the Anglophone war or crisis, which is a historical revolution, a historical revolution can never be erased with guns, Mr. Tah Mai Javis. Because, let me tell you, kill everybody in Northwest and Southwest, including those who do not buy the idea of secession. The idea itself will remain. You will only succeed to kill them, but you will not succeed to kill the idea with the guns. So, what am I saying in essence? Forgive me if you were comforted by the fact that the alliance were going to bring some fruit. No, nothing will come out of it. It is just a folklore. It's a play. You know,
we just saw how a prominent arms dealer was arrested.
When Sisiko Ayuktabe, who is at the head, was arrested, which fruit did it bring? I want to tell you that Biya Buhari relations are senile and they have no produce. Biya Buhari, these are birds of a same feather. These are two failed head of state.
No, but how do you
listen?
These are leaders, great leaders.
You need to know that
historians as
before they come,
leaders who have created impact. You say they are failed.
No. Before Buhari came back to power in Nigeria, Nigeria was already enjoying some relative peace, even diplomatically. And with the coming back of Buhari to power, you will bear with me, without disputing that the insecurity in Nigeria has increased or has resurfaced. Just like in Cameroon in 2018, when Mr. Biya baptized it the mandate of new opportunities, you have discovered that it was actually a new opportunity for more evil. It was a new opportunity for more embezzlement, new opportunity for more killings. So that's why I term it BB Alliance will lead to nowhere.
Mr. Anu, I want us to look at this issue rigorously. You have been following the chain of events, especially as far as the Nigeria-Cameroon alliance is concerned. You listen to the historical background given by Mr. Suleiman, and now this alliance. You are a teacher and a civil society advocate. Do you believe that something meaningful will come from this alliance, especially as Cameroon is preparing for effective resumption of back to school? Maybe this alliance is to say that, hey, let's reduce this and ensure that effective classes take off in the northwest and the southwest region.
Yeah, I don't actually believe that alliance will bring in a fruit. To me, it is just like playing to the gallery. The Cameroon cannot be forming an alliance in order to reduce the illegal flow of arms from Nigeria to Cameroon. Even Nigeria itself, they cannot control the illegal flow of arms within its own territory, especially within those border territories. The Nigerian army or the Nigerian government cannot be able to even control that. Talk less of controlling the one that will flow into Cameroon. If you go to, I happen to have visited Nigeria a couple of times of recent, and if you see the level of insecurity that is there, you will not, most of the time it is not reported on media. The issue of armed bandits, you will see armed bandits will go into a community and butcher down a whole community down, and they will not report it, and that's what is happening. And you ask yourself, you begin to ask yourself where to get those arms from. And it is a kind of a very strong market in Nigeria that is difficult to fight. So Cameroon forming an alliance, it's to me, they are just trying to give the international community that are doing something to solve the conflict. But to the best of my knowledge, I know that that alliance cannot stop the ongoing conflict or the armed conflict that's going on within the southern Cameroons. And the government is dodging from attacking the problem from the root cause. Rather than trying to solve the problem, they're trying to solve the effects of the problem. Because forming an alliance to block arms from coming into Cameroon is like solving the effects, which in the long run will not yield any fruit. And secondly, you cannot be stopping arms from flowing into Cameroon. If you look at the dynamics of the conflict now, you don't know the amount, you cannot document or bring out statistically the amount of arms that the non-state armed groups are having. And so, thirdly, the borderline between Cameroon and Nigeria is so porous that even if you bring the whole army and station there, there will still be places where people will pass with arms. Because
if you look at the northwest region in itself, from Wum, Way village in Camber, from Meta village, from Momo, the entire that stretch is the border.
Yes, it's
and you come out to the southwest region in itself, to the Libya Lampard extreme, to go to the other side of the Manu.
Yes.
And also Ndian towards the river. And
yeah, I happened to, last December I was in Nigeria, when I traveled to Abuja, and I passed through a cock. And at that time the bridge was locked. The bridge was not up. I think they were constructing a new bridge. And we happened to be crossing the border at that place with boats and canoes and the rest. And I tried to observe what was happening there. There was no presence of the military there. And people were just, you could carry any bag and pass. There was no control. I mean, just the main border that people are passing. Not to talk of the other roads that the military don't even go near. So if you just take those into consideration, you see that this thing is just like, they're just trying to fool us. And
you said the Cameroon government is dodging the reality.
Yeah, they're dodging
the root cause of this problem.
Yes.
But the Cameroon government will argue with you that they were the interministerial committee organized in Bamenda and in Yaoundé, that of the teachers and the lawyers headed by Paul Mingot Gogomo, and that in Yaoundé for the lawyers. And the Cameroon government would say they have organized a grand national dialogue. As fallout, they came in with a special status. As fallout, also some people were redeployed, teachers were redeployed. The Bilingualism Commission was created after the ad hoc committee. Mosonga, Peter Mafani Mosonga is leading that commission, and that they have created the House of Chiefs, and that these are the root causes that have been addressed, that the non-state armed groups themselves just need to give this idea the chance for it to survive.
I don't think so. The government is not like tackling the root cause. They're tackling the effects of the crisis, the effect of the root cause. They are not tackling the root cause of what is actually causing the crisis. Creating all these multiple commissions that all of us have observed that have produced zero fruits to me. To the best of my understanding, they have produced zero fruits, and we are still depending on it. To me, if your child gets angry with you and you try to debate or dialogue with your child by the fact that he was angry with you, and if your child changes the modality by picking, after being angry, picking a machete against you, you will not be dialoguing with your child, talking with your child based on the fact that your child was angry. You will now dialogue based on the fact that he was angry and is now holding a machete. So the dynamics of dialogue will change.
Okay.
So there are international recognized principles of resolving conflicts, or especially armed conflicts. And if you look at what the Cameroon government is doing, and we have not observed them applying these principles. We have observed them applying their own principles to solve conflicts. There are well-established principles to solve conflict resolutions. And
okay. Thank you. We'll be coming back to you. Let's take on this brief transition so that we usher in our guest, Dr. Ako John Ako, who is around, and we'll be getting to Ms. Angalim too, who is watching us via Skype. We'll be coming back. You're welcome back. Good day, Davison from Oyuka. No hope that the two situations are different. Biafra has always been part of Nigeria. Southern Cameroon has never been part of French Cameroon. The alliance is just a propaganda. This other one, it says, good day, Javis. We've repeatedly said that there is no military solution to the problem in the southwest and northwest regions. Rather, it is a political situation. Rather, it is a political solution. But the government continues to chase the shadow. My greetings to Ndiwum Emmanuel and Dr. Ako John Ako for their objectivity. I am Gole Hane in Limbe. I don't know if Ms. Angalim, you are connected with us, Ms. Angalim. If you are there, happy Sunday to you.
Thank you very much, Javis, for having me. It's a pleasure to be back on the program after all this all this break.
Yeah, I'm a happy Sunday from the crew members and from Dr. Ako John Ako to you.
My regards to all the panelists and all the technicians working behind the screens, and I hope this is going to be a very pleasant Sunday as we discuss issues of critical importance to the return of justice, peace, and stability in our region.
Nigeria-Cameroon alliance. What do you make of that? Can this produce results?
I think I have to first of all start by appreciating the context that the previous panelists have put into this. And we have to recognize the fact that this is not the first time that Cameroon and Nigeria are getting into a transboundary security alliance. It has always been there. But now we hear them talking about the Biafra-Ambazonia alliance as a cause for concern. Let's not pretend. It's very evident that if this Ambazonia-Biafra alliance has reached the top levels of security to the level that it's a topic of discussion in the Cameroon-Nigeria transboundary security meetings, it means it is a potential threat, and the risk in this threat should be very high. That is why they would sit to talk about it. And that said, it's important that we look at the historical context related only to the Nigerian, only to the Biafran Ambazonian context. You know, in 2018, at the same transboundary security meeting, the Secretary of State, the National Security Advisor of Nigeria, said President Buhari assures Cameroon that he will take all necessary measures within the ambit of the law to ensure that Nigeria's territory is not used to stage any action to destabilize or separate Cameroon. In 2018, Nigeria undertook an extraordinary rendition of Sisku Ayub Tabe and about 65 others to Cameroon, despite the fact that they had claimed asylum status and needed protection under international and Nigerian law. In 2019, a Nigerian court ruled that this extraordinary rendition of Ayub Tabe and others was a violation of their fundamental rights, and they needed to be returned to Nigeria and compensated by the Nigerian government. The Nigerian government has not done anything towards that regard. Then in 2019, in July of 2019, General Emmanuel Adamu, who led the Nigerian delegation to the Cameroon-Nigeria Transboundary Security Session in Yaoundé, also said that Nigeria is not going to be used as a backstage to destabilize Cameroon. And then in 2021, General Babangana said, and he re-emphasized a commitment he had made in 2019 in the same meeting of the Transboundary Security meeting, where he said Nigeria would do everything to destabilize the alliance between the Biafrans and the Ambazonians. Now, with this background context in mind, let us remember that Nigeria has a lot of security issues. Nigeria has Boko Haram up north. Nigeria has Biafra down southeast. Nigeria has the Yoruba nation in the west, meaning all Nigeria's strategic or their political locations are all threatened. And before even delving into that, let us look at what happened in the most recent years. We had the Niger Avengers who were fighting for the Niger Delta. And all these security issues point to one thing. The methods in resolving this crisis have not been reasonable, have not been sustainable, and cannot guarantee lasting peace. As Mr. Suleiman said in 1967 or 1970, Nigeria declared the end of the Biafran War. But that is not the question, because even if Nigeria is satisfied or was satisfied at that time that the Biafran War had ended in 1967 or 1970, in 2021, we are talking about the Biafran uprising. The Biafrans are rising and the Biafrans are making an alliance with the Ambazonians. This is a clear indication that we do not resolve these conflicts through war or through the barrel of the gun. I think it's sufficient and it is well documented that an independentist movement is based on the ideology of independence. These are not ragtag criminals who have just picked up guns to fight. These are people who are defending a cause. And as you keep on using the military option, their children see what is happening. Their children know what is happening. Their children feel the pain. They go through a lot of trauma. And in the next few years, it's going to resurrect. Emmanuel has made a very good point about attacking the cause of the problem. If you don't attack the cause of the problem, if you attack the symptoms of the problem, you are simply giving room for another attack for another uprising in the future. If Cameroon and Nigeria successfully clamp down on this Ambazonian movement, are we sure that the kids who are born today, or those who have seen their parents bleed, or those who are in the diaspora seeing what is happening, will they fold their arms in the next 5, 10, 20 years and sit down quietly? These are questions that President Buhari and President Biya should be asking themselves. If we do not even consider that point of view, let us look at the practicality of enforcing this alliance. Which border are they going to be controlling? Up north, they have been fighting since 2010 against Boko Haram, but the borders are still porous. Boko Haram still goes in and out. Okay, what is happening around the Adamawa region? We read on the news how bandits and other illicit business traffickers traffic goods through the Adamawa region. And then down south, we have the Ambazonian movement. So throughout the line between Nigeria and Cameroon, it's a very huge boundary, and Nigeria does not, neither does Cameroon, have enough resources to protect that boundary according to what they would want militarily. So the best shot is You sit down and talk with these people, talk with those who have legitimate grievances. We all recognize the fact that these are legitimate grievances. And by refusing to tackle these legitimate grievances from where they started, which is the decolonization process, both Nigeria and Cameroon are only prolonging this war. And who knows, maybe they are making money out of it. But what about the pain of the people on the ground? So the bottom line to this question, Javis, is that whether you arrest Nnamdi Kanu in Kenya or you arrest Sisiku and co from Lagos and send back to Cameroon, that is not a solution to the problem. When they arrested Sisiku and co in 2018, it was thought that the crisis or the war was going to end. It has not ended. It is still going on. And now we see this alliance between Ayabacho and Nnamdi Kanu. It shows an indication that people have common values. I know we're going to, some Ambazonians are arguing that the Biafrans and the Ambazonians don't have a common cause, so the alliance is going to fail. I don't think that is a determining factor of that alliance. The determining factor of that alliance should be in the fact that both people have a problem, and that problem centers around the right to self-determination. And whether the causes are the same or not, we are looking at people who have made that decision that they are going to exchange military intelligence and are going to share information and diplomatic contacts in order to advance their cause. So,
we'll be coming back to you, Mr. Galen.
I don't see the government of Cameroon and Nigeria, let me land, Javis, I don't see it possible that the governments of Cameroon and Nigeria are going to clamp down on these Biafran Ambazonian alliance at this point.
Thank you very much. Good morning to you in the studio. I must tell you that the Nigerian-Cameroon alliance has failed, just like a major national dialogue that took place in Yaoundé. Mr. Javis, is just like saying that a new and NEPA has formed an alliance to solve electricity problem in Cameroon and Nigeria. How can you explain the fact that Nigeria, Chad, and Cameroon joint task force with the help of France and America are not able to stop Boko Haram for over many years? Where is the Boko Haram getting their guns from? It's really a waste of time. Gilbert in Yaoundé. Good afternoon, good morning to you guys in the studio. This is Donga Rem Rona Indwala. The alliance between Cameroon and Nigeria is stamp out secessionists is laudable. It will not work. This other one says, good afternoon, great program, and happy Sunday to you. Jackson in Yaoundé says, good afternoon to you in the studio. We can hope for stability in bad faith. We can hope for stability in bad faith and controversy. We all long for stability, but it must be done in a gentleman way. No matter how loud a gun may sound, it can never bring peace, but rather generate fright and tension. May heaven help us. Jackson from Yaoundé. Dr. John Akojon, welcome to the program again, and a happy Sunday. Irena.
Yeah. The pleasure is mine once more on House of Commons. And interestingly, we are talking Cameroon and other issues maybe affecting the African continent and the world at large.
Dr. Akojon, you are used to Manu, you are from Manu, and when we look at the trend, the area bordering Nigeria, I'll look at this alliance now between Cameroon and Nigeria. Can this work?
Yeah, to my humble opinion, I believe very strongly that security issues between Cameroon and Nigeria has been as old as mankind. If you look at the porous nature that shared the boundary between Cameroon and Nigeria, from the south right up to the north, and since the incursion of Boko Haram into Cameroon, remember again that in the days when we talk of the Bakassi Peninsula conflict, Cameroon and Nigeria has a territorial problem which needed to be arranged, and up to now we haven't. After the ICJ ruling, there was this commission called the Nigeria-Cameroon Mixed Commission to ascertain rights and obligations over one another within the Bakassi Peninsula. And I'm telling you that what happened in Nigeria just of recent was not like came together to solve or have a common agreement against Ambazonian fighters or Ambazonian movement, but it was again a time when they revised the security issues raised within the ICJ decision to maintain peace along the Bakassi Peninsula. And it happens that one of those points on the agenda was equally the conflict affecting Cameroon. The Cameroon-Nigeria Commission, which is based for Bakassi, will and may live to have the same similar consequences like when we had the conflict with Nigeria. You remember some time ago, Nigerian forces and equally some non-state actors were equally present in Bakassi Peninsula. But when we knew when we look at it back, you realize that Nigeria handled it because more of the rebels were coming from Nigeria, and Nigeria could easily get over it. Now we are talking of the separatist agreement with the Delta region, or people of the Biafran state. The Biafran state, I will tell you that its movement has been as old as the independence of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and many others. Before Muammar Gaddafi died, you could remember that one of his modest suggestions was that the size of Nigeria is too big for the government in Abuja to control, and that to his opinion, Nigeria could be split to other 4 or 5 different major states, and which means the Biafran people might have a right. Now, Nnamdi Kanu equally being smuggled on similar system ways, like Sisi Tabe and Co. and 9 others were equally taken out from Nigeria. Will this handle the problem? Is that the cause of the problem? Is that the cause of the increase? And what I believe the government of Cameroon has failed to understand is that there has been a drastic shift in policy. Some time ago, people said we cannot build a state over social media, and you realize that Amazonian leaders have avoided using social media this time around. And some time ago, we said they were using den guns. You could imagine people showing you catapults. And today, the military is crying more of the victim here than the civilians are doing or done. These fighters are really doing. Is it the agreement with the Biafran state that has pushed over this change in strategy? I believe equally it's a time for the government of Cameroon to reflect that security-wise they too, they have failed. Because sometime one of the ministers told us that 2 cubes of sugar has nothing to do in a basin of water. And so they were thinking that before they believe in what they did in the past with what we call La Maquis, they could equally do it in the northwest and southwest region. But it is proving very difficult. This is the fit here. And going with Nigeria, I'm saying that this is an internal conflict. To my brother's opinion, I said some time ago that conflicts can never be placed, or arms can never be placed in the presence of conflict to handle an internal problem. It would have been very easy to handle this issue if we were being attacked by Burundians or by Togolese or by Beninois. But now it is within the same people. Remember, the general, Eze Nka, who is controlling equally, said it has been very difficult these days to work or even out the Amazonian movement in the 2 regions, because even the population is not helping them. If a military man is telling you a civilian to help him, then who will help the civilian? Which equally there are signs of failure within the camp of the military. And I think it is more of an internal problem which demands or warrants a political solution, which several times we have been proposing that it is not arresting, it's not by signing agreement. The government in Yaoundé knows exactly where they fall that. The 1972 referendum was just a maneuver of the English people will to join their brother.
Doctor, you are a political analyst, and you are someone versed within this conflict and also conflict resolutions. When we look at the numerous crises plaguing Nigeria, I want us to go methodologically. As we speak, hundreds of schools in Katsina State, Kaduna, and Zamfara are shut down because of level of insecurity in these regions, where hundreds of school children are constantly being kidnapped. As we speak, there is a conflict in Plateau, where hundreds of people have been killed within just 2 weeks. As we speak, the people from the Biafran secessionist movement are agitating, and they are at the level of the Anglophone crisis as it started in 2017, and it's moving from a different stage. As we speak now, the people, Yorubas, are agitating for secession, and so high level of unemployment in Nigeria. The NSAS movement is still on. Can all these, Nigeria, with all this on its table, provide a help Cameroon in the border? And just to add that in recent 2 weeks ago, we had an incursion into Bakassi Peninsula by the Nigerian separatist movement in Bakassi Peninsula. Now, meaning that Cameroon will have to again refocus now on Bakassi and the north part of Cameroon, Seleka Rebe in the east, all this. Can we have stability? Yeah, that is when you look in a geostrategical position. Nigeria have more internal worries when it comes to security than Cameroon. Even again at that, we could equally imagine, you just mentioned of the Seleka movement in the east, which has equally time and again made an attempt. Remember, we aborted a coup that was planned in the Central African Republic within the monitoring powers of Seleka that was to destabilize Obiangema in Equatorial Guinea. Now, when you look at Nigeria, we have the herdsmen crisis in Nigeria. Those who are rearing their cattle too are fighting for their own rights in Nigeria. Some time ago, we were even told that onion farmers too are almost preparing for another battle because they don't have land again to farm their onion, owing to the security situation. All that tension in Nigeria, and Cameroon signing an alliance with Nigeria, you ask yourself if really
between Cameroon and Nigeria presently, who needs one another? Is it Nigeria or Cameroon? And to what extent Nigeria will fight? I never wanted to come again into the Boko Haram crisis, because remember when the life of Idris Deby Itno, it was thanks to him and his timely intervention that Boko Haram was a bit cooled down in the north, in the far north region of Cameroon. Today he is not present. You can imagine the consequences again. There is a continuous increase of attacks and killing by Boko Haram insurgency in the far north.
Okay.
Can we really depend on Nigeria and Cameroon as they successfully picked up and kidnapped Sisi Kwanko that were in a certain and an open and a public place? Can they equally successfully pick up Boko Haram agents along the Cameroon-Nigerian border? If Cameroon and Nigeria have not succeeded, I mean, with the might of the United States and all the sophisticated technology, drones, to crawl down and kill Boko Haram, is it going to be successful in the northwest and the southwest region? Does Cameroon really need Nigeria to solve what we call the Anglophone crisis?
Because and almost stabilize Cameroon and it partially destabilize Nigeria.
That is what we are saying here, is that the two countries are one of the most corrupt that we have in the continent, and the problems remain almost the same.
Okay.
But the two governments are failing to give. I mean, you cannot be sick of malaria and they are giving you cure for Qatar,
okay,
and you think that the malaria will go off.
Mr. Suleiman,
give the right treatment for the disease that disturbs the nation. The Anglophone crisis is the best, okay, and let's give the right cure to it.
Mr. Suleiman, you wanted to react when
you talked about the alliance.
Yes.
I want to bear on this. You see, when you look at the demographics on both sides of the aisle, when you go to the northwest region, there are a lot of Kambe people who migrated in the 60s and went to Sadana local government of Gembu, went to Giseto and Gembu in Sadana local government of Taraba State in northern Nigeria. They call them Kambu over there. Here they call them Kambe, but they are the same people. They have relative all across the aisle. When they meet themselves, do you know how they greet? They say Vanike, you say Jen, they say Osake, Musayuka is gone. Banso people are also found in large number, in large quantity in Mambila Plateau. If they come here, they meet their brothers and sisters. They meet. They say Irana Eno Asaka Aya Kichung. Is gone. When you go down to Manu Division, the Kayaka people are found in Ikan on Cross River State. They say Irena, you say Kabo, it's gone. When you go to the worst of again, the Manu people go down Yankwe from Calabar. When the two Yankwe meet, they have a mystical way of greeting each other. Etagwe, the boy, he goes. When you go down to Indian Division, that is the cross of the matter now. When you go down to Indian Division, you will see that 90% of the residents of Ediabato, Isangere, Kumba Bejimo, Kumba Etindi are Calabar people, Akwa Ibom people, Ejo people. Even before the ruling at the Hague, Atabon was known before the ruling. Ediabato was known before the ruling as Atabon. Abana was known before the ruling as Isangere. It's Marafa in its capacity administration and decentralization, change all those names and get them Douala name to sound Cameroon. And they have their brothers across the aisle. If you go to Cross River State, you go to Akwa Ibom State, they have them. When they meet them, they start greeting by greeting by saying, how do they even greet that? I've forgotten. They start greeting like that. Yoruba people, if you go to from Tiko, Limbe, Edeya, and Douala, all those Elijah people are of Yoruba origin. They speak Yoruba language all. When they go to Lagos, Oyo, Ogo, Osun State, they speak the Ekaro, Ele, Ekushe, Dadani, Adukwe, Ilenko, Owa, Yaung, all. You see? So you see that these demographics found in both sides of the aisle, in Nigeria and Cameroon. Do you think this relation can be resolved peacefully? To me, I see it's very dangerous. Because both sides are suffering from domination, political. They are fighting for political power. They are fighting for they are fighting for domination against domination. So I think, Mr. Javis, the Biafrans are fighting for political power. The ambassadors are fighting for political power. The ambassadors are against domination. The Biafrans are against domination. So how do we interlink this thing? That domination operation is there. And these people from both sides of the eyes, you know, is terrible. I mean, the Calabo, Mr. Rende, Abadie, Ejoke, and then for Osong, they talk like that. So, Mr. Javi, let me tell you something. The problem with Nigeria and Cameroon, to resolve it it will be very, very difficult. It's a very dangerous president. I don't see anyhow they can resolve this thing with people who are dominated politically, people who are dominated economically. I don't see how they resolve this thing. Secondly, Nigeria, the problem of Zamfara, Kaduna, Jos, Katsina. The one of Jos is religious, and again is herdsmen tampering with people's land. That's what is bringing that fighting in Jos. Religious intolerance and herdsmen interfering with people's farmland. For Katsina, Zamfara is the same thing. Then the worst thing that has come now is the kidnappers.
Yes.
Poverty. Poverty has brought people. Poverty has brought people.
We'll be coming back to you. Okay. Is Cameroon forming an alliance to fight domestic pocket resistance? This is simply legitimate. This simply legitimates the Amber cause. I am ashamed of myself seeing Cameroon bleeding on its knees and begging Nigeria to help them fight Amber, of which Nigeria is one of the most unsecured country in the world. Who is fooling who? It is Baobab from Yaoundé. This other one reads, it says, good morning panel. They are just dreaming of the accord. Nigeria is first of all unable to manage its own internal crime. Talking of long and vast porous borders, which with a lot of corrupt military guys who will collect their money and let go after all. Weti Bima Wahala. This is coming from Afa in Yaoundé. Good afternoon to you all guys in the studio. I am Ghislaine. I am from Douala. The Nigerian government are mad. Where were they when army went to Bali and killed people in the church? Good afternoon and happy Sunday to you guys. Good afternoon to you in the studio. The truth is that if thank you, your message is gotten. The woman Emmanuel, I want us now to look at this from the perspective of bringing stability in both countries. Buhari and President Biya have been firm in ensuring that the Ambazonia independence should not succeed, because it will give a green light to the Biafra movement. With this alliance, what can the government do to make it work?
No, as I earlier said when I took the mic the first time, I said Biya, Buhari are two failed people. You see, Biya himself, who has promised heaven to Cameroon, and on the contrary has been given hell, do you think that it will be on the basis of this alliance that he will do something positive? And who even told you that Biya is still at the helm of this country? Do you feel him? I say these are two very good failed friends.
I listen to him anytime the national station plays on COVID-19.
It is good because you see the national station, and I don't remember the day I followed the national station. You see, and in Nigeria, Buhari promised them that he was coming to power to put an end to Boko Haram. Until date, Boko Haram has gathered more momentum. But then what you ask a question about stability. Look, this thing happening in Northwest and Southwest, this war is first of all a war of ideology. And you cannot kill an ideology with a gun. The alliance that these people are making here, Nigeria, Cameroon alliance, let me be very honest with you that they only focus their energy on guns. And such ideologies can only be subdued by other stronger ideologies. That is to sit on the table. Remember that even in Cameroon, there are people who are not very much active in this war, who are living in the city, but their spirits are very much into this war because of the discrimination that the Anglophones have suffered in this country for so long a time. So the war is first of all spiritual before the physical part of it that you are seeing on the field. And I think it is time to seek truth, speak it in love, to bring the nation of Cameroon back to its feet. And that can only be done within the territory of Cameroon. Rushing to Nigeria using the same people who said there was no Anglophone crisis, using the same people who said Mr. Biya had already conquered the war, means that they have failed, and they are now congratulating these Amber boys that you people were doing something. They are making it more and more a reality, both to the nationals and to the internationals, that the war was real and we have failed to conquer it as we thought.
Okay.
Because remember, we have been we have been talking to this government. The only way out is that the root causes should be addressed. But what we see more and more, rushing to Nigeria means they are still conforming to the theory that they keep comforting their evil and then consoling their failure.
Okay.
Cameroon government is consoling failure.
Anu, you've listened to Barrister John Ako, and you also listened to Mr. Ngalim. I want to get your opinion. You, as a civil society, what must the government do to make this work, this alliance work? Because teachers are out of school. You are a teacher, and schools will soon be resuming. What can we do to bring stability?
The government doesn't need to be focusing on this alliance. As I said earlier, it's a fair alliance before even the implementation. They should tackle the root cause of the problem. That's what we have been crying since 2016, when this crisis started. The government should be bold enough to tackle the evil, the root cause of this problem. Even though we can see that it is a problem of greed, political greed, that is preventing the government from coming down from its high horse to tackle the root cause of this problem. And to tackle the root cause of this problem, it is only genuine and frank and sincere dialogue that can do that. There's no other magic. Depending on Nigeria, which is, to me, is already a failed state in disguise. Nigeria can never help us. They are not even able to help themselves. Talk less of us linking on them for them to help us. And thinking as from a Pan-Africanist perspective, we Africans should begin to think of, we should not be thinking of the unity of Africa from forming large nations. Forming large nations is good, but the basis of that formation should also be considered highly. If you look at most of our nations, they were not formed by us. They were formed by colonial masters or colonialists. And we cannot be able to sustain that unity. If you look at Nigeria, the Biafrans are fighting because the term Nigeria was formed by Lugard and by the amalgamation of 1914. And today, the Biafrans, right from the 60s, they feel cheated. That's why they stage a war. And if today, 2021, the ideology is still coming up, we are still forecasting that the Biafrans are still preparing to stage a war, a full-fledged war, but they are still studying the temperature to look at it so that when they go into it, they will not fail as their forefathers failed in the 60s. If you study what is happening, and that's what will happen in some years to come, if the right leadership,
they have started ghost town, eh?
Yes, they did that some years. If the right to solve this issue needs right leadership, and which Buhari and Biya cannot provide.
Thank you.
They are of the old generation. They cannot provide that leadership that can be able to solve this problem.
Mr. Ngalim, are you there?
Yes, Javis.
Briefly, I want you to tackle briefly so that I move to Dr. Ako John. When I hear you guys talk about root cause, you bear with us that the government too is saying that they have tackled the root cause. The Gambia National Dialogue, a special status was given, the redeployment of teachers, a House of Chiefs have been created. The government will tell you too that they have created an open arm disarmament and demobilization, and all these things the government says they have done. Is that not good part of the root cause that the government is telling you guys and all Cameroonians that they are tackling? That is just for peace, for the other side to give peace a chance. Briefly.
Yeah, Javis, it's characteristic of the government of Cameroon to redefine the problem and then start solving the redefined problem and abandoning the original and the real problem. When this thing started in 2015, it's because the lawyers had sent 2 petitions to the government to address critical issues that were plaguing the southern Cameroons. And these problems, according to the lawyers, dated back to 1961. But according to Amazonian movements, this dates back to the complete decolonization process. So until the government decides to sit down one-on-one with Amazonians, with Southern Cameroonians, to discuss about this problem, what they are calling root causes are just a coination or a fabrication of the Cameroon government. The government of Cameroon had an opportunity in 2009 when the African Commission of Human and People's Rights in Banjul ruled that they can facilitate dialogue between the Southern Cameroonians and the government of Cameroon to discuss about the decolonization process, because that is the problem. The problem is not commissions here, commissions there. The problem is before 2016, Southern Cameroonians had a problem, and they had made it well known in the All Anglophone Conferences 1 and 2. And the government of Cameroon has ignored that. The government of Cameroon gives its own solutions without asking the people what they think are solutions. And this is the problem that African governments need to cut across. What Buhari and Paul Biya are doing in the name of alliances, in the name of fighting secessionists, in the name of fighting independentist movements, it is wrong. That is the wrong strategy. The right strategy should be sit down on the table and talk with these people. What do you want? Try to convince them. They have an idea, and that idea is we are being marginalized, we are being tortured, we are being oppressed simply because our decolonization process went wrong. That is for the Southern Cameroons. Then, our solution has always been we need our right to self-determination. And by the right to self-determination, Southern Cameroonians want to make their decisions by themselves. Yaoundé should not sit and make decisions for the Southern Cameroonians. Decisions are made at the ground level and implemented at the top level.
Which does mean that a federal system, which does mean that a federal system
will decide who fits them in their houses. And let me learn. And the Coalition for Dialogue and Negotiation is doing everything possible as an indigenous organization made up of indigenous experts, made up of professionals born of the Southern Cameroons, to bring these people to sit and talk, to realize that the solution to this war is talking with and in the presence of an international mediator who can help enforce the resolutions of any such talking. So talking is necessary, and people must sit down to talk. If you don't sit down to talk, we'll keep on killing people every day, and there will be no solution to this. Thank you, Javis.
Thank you, Dr. Ako John Ako. I want us to look at, because when we look at this alliance, the womb earlier, you were not yes, said Nigeria should go back and look at the 1972, Nigeria should go back and look at the killings, Nigeria should go back and look at all these things. If Nigeria can address, then this summit can work, this alliance can work. The same thing, Mr. Anu is pointing out the fact that they should go to the root causes. Ngalim root causes, Mr. Suleiman is stating that they need to look at it from the root causes too to resolve this conflict. When we talk about the root causes, the Cameroon government says they had a major national dialogue and House of Chiefs were formed. We now have the regional and municipal councillors, and all these things will still give peace a chance.
Yeah, what I'm happy is that you said the Cameroon government will say, not what the international body or majority of Cameroonians are saying. We want solutions that are going to be long-lasting. We want solutions that are not going to be perishable. We want solutions that will be applauded and capable of bringing each and every Cameroonian together. If really, I just said here some time ago, if Cameroon is said to be one and indivisible, and that the people of Southern Cameroon have an equal right in this nation, I believe when you talk of Southern Cameroon, President Paul Biya should feel it. He has been on several trips abroad. He has been on several visits out of Cameroon. We are still to see him make a visit since the beginning of the crisis in any part of this region. And we start thinking that what he created, you talk of the major national dialogue, which was just a created propaganda to prove to the world that they are moving ahead. The disarmament, send our water commission, the bilingualism commission,
construction
and to what extent has this helped to solve the Southern Cameroonian problem still remain unanswered? How can you be solving a problem which you know the actors, you know those who are stakeholders, and then you move out, dispatch billions of francs CFA for missions abroad, then bring in your own people, which you are thinking that they were part of the crisis, who don't even know where the crisis started and where we are or where we are moving to. You get some group of guys who call themselves participants from the diaspora, came and took their own part of the budget, and you were happy about the resolution. And if this resolution was really
resolutions from the major national dialogue were coming from the mind of Cameroonian. Imagine, I still dream over a commission like that, which they said the commission for decentralization. Meaning somebody created his commission, then named them by himself. Who are those to name whether decentralization, whether unitary, whether federal system, or independent nations? It becomes a sole, a blowing system of one and a single.
So it was for the commission, for the major national dialogue to come first and decide on the commission.
There is what we call pre-negotiation talks before a measure. You are saying a measure,
but
meaning they should be minor.
There was the meeting with the prime minister before this grand major national dialogue.
And maybe political visits.
Maybe they took from the recommendation that
they are not
with
taking.
The prime minister that okay, share it in this particular.
I said they are not taking. Before a measure, what you call a measure, national dialogue, there should be pre-negotiations and pre-dialogue.
So that
I said the agenda.
Dr. Ako John Ako, are you saying that the Prime Minister, Head of Government Chief Dr. Joseph Donguti, meetings with all the stakeholders on regular occasions was not part of the pre-dialogue?
I said these were political visits. I called them political visits. These people went to the Star Building and left with their private envelopes. I did not see any. I mean, pre-dialogue should start with the stakeholders. I mean, those who control the forces. I don't know whether you have any force on the ground.
The only force I have on the ground is the journalists that we are just reporting from our position.
Thank you very well. If you cannot, we are talking of changing the electoral code. Then you don't consult the political parties. Which code are you changing? Let's come basically to this one. And before you change the code, I mean, call those who are politicians. You will not call military people to come and discuss about a civil code for election. And you say you have offered a chance for clean and free of fair election in Cameroon. It will fail. It will fail. For us to make a measure of national dialogue, the authority has said if this nation is loved by those who are governing, there was a need for a pre-negotiation with all the stakeholders. Out of here, some people said their security being in Cameroon was not guaranteed.
Barata was given invitation.
It's not given that is a problem. I told you some time ago, that I once remember there was this military ruler in Uganda, Idi Amin Dada, said you are free to talk. That yes, the right to speak is a genuine right, but the right after talking, even he himself does not know. You can imagine that. Yes, when you are ruled. No, let this clearly. When you live it within such a power, I mean, I call them a council of vampires. We need to accept with it. You cannot be luring people into a trap which they know already that it's a trap. And they have promised you that carry this dialogue into a safe haven where they can come and participate and talk to you. You are unable. Remember, there is what we call the street talk. Yeah, people are talking about. Some time ago, we were talking of them, how can I call? Kofi Annan negotiation in Accra, Ghana. And nothing is moving because people believe that it is out of Cameroon. People are still believing that we are Cameroonians and we can find a solution ourselves. It is 6 years now.
Okay.
And if we keep on toiling, lives are losing. We are losing lives every day. It is not for us to see that Cameroonians are not killing Chadians. Cameroonians are not killing Central Africans. Cameroonians are killing themselves. Okay. I remember when we read from some eminence like Pope John Paul II, at any time a government take arms against its own very people, then such a nation has no future.
Mr. Suleiman.
We have been talking all this over this channel. Dialogue, discussion, talking to each other.
But do you agree with Dr. Ako John? I will ask the same question. First, let me ask. Do you agree with Dr. Ako John that the meeting with the Prime Minister, which was a pre-dialogue to propose way in which the grand measure national dialogue can be handled, he says it was just a political visit?
All what I know is that this government has bad faith towards this matter. They don't have good faith towards this matter because they know the truth. They know how to tackle the truth. They don't want to go to it. They know and again, they are even worsening the situation in Nigeria. But threatening to create another university at NOLINGA, to kill University of Boya. These many people again. Masa, not talk.
Yes. You will agree with Dr. John Ako John that the pre-meeting was a political visit. Well, because we see the government says they have good faith, and we've seen that the government has ordered for people to drop their arms by creating disarmament and demobilization. Our political son, Mr. Paul Atanganji, has been on the field on numerous occasions to see how they can resolve this conflict. The Minister of, the Minister of Justice has been there to ensure that the lawyers are given the opportunity to represent their client in court.
I subscribe to his idea in total. That was a political visit. But I also add again that it was a beautiful opportunity for those who have been longing from envelopes coming out from the Star Building,
yes,
to accomplish their objective, and it was done. May I remind you that before the monologue, I've always told you, before the major national monologue.
No, I want to understand that you have been captioned it that way, because we should not assume that it was a
I call it a monologue, okay, and good. I assume it. Good. I am telling you that before this monologue, people were called up to file in their contributions, in which no political party, I stand to be challenged, no religious organization, no civil society body gave in a list of proposals in which a special status was found inside. This is to tell you that, like Suleiman said that a while ago, we are dealing with a government of bad faith. That is simple. Cameroon government has never been ready for dialogue till date. They are ready for more war, and that is why they are getting more war from the Amazonian boys. When Mr. Biya told Mo Ibrahim in France that I have tried to assimilate them because they are minority. They are not my words. I am not the one who sent him there. He is the one that nature forced him to speak the truth to the world.
On avait la possibilité de les intégrer.
No, who knows assimilate? Maybe you don't hear French well. I am telling you that he said. No, yes. I am saying he made it clear that because they are of the minority, yes, we try to assimilate them over these years, yes, and they have proven stubborn.
No, maybe he was taken out of context.
And I just want to add that he was just adding his voice to the one of his disciples, Chiroma Bakari, who made it at the advent of this war that the minorities cannot destabilize this country, and that two regions who are just 2 cubes of sugar put in the basin of water can never make that water sweet.
No, that was not Chiruma who said that. That was a Weber quoting a minister.
I am listen. No,
Weber quoting
that is not our topic today.
Yes, that was. But I am telling you that the minister said.
I am telling you that Issa Chiroma Bakari said it on a national radio, of which I used to participate on Morning Safari, and he made it clear there were 3 ministers with the present minister of higher education, who made it clear that you people have not teachers have not become contractors. Okay. I am a teacher, and any teacher who is not found in the classroom because you think you have been treated badly, the hammer of the law shall fall on you. Those are the provocations that brought us where we are today.
Thank you.
And what am I saying, Tama? Before I give you back the microphone,
10 seconds.
I want to tell you that it is bad faith that has brought us where we are, and that till the government shall find it necessary to talk, because as of now the government has never talked. I've never spoken.
Anu, where do we go from here? Because a lot of Dr. Akojon has raised a serious issue that pre-dialogue had never taken place. But we have seen dialogue. People said Cameroon government is not working in good faith. We have seen good faith of the government. We have seen the government struggling to welcome people who have dropped their arms, begging people to drop their arms, saying that there's House of Chiefs, saying that let's give decentralization a chance. Now it's accelerated decentralization. The government has shifted from decentralization to accelerated decentralization. So the process is accelerating. Why not give peace a chance?
The process is accelerating. Who is accelerating? Who is at the accelerator and doing that? So, to me, at the beginning of this conflict, the government opted for a military solution, and they are still pursuing it, and they are still believing that they win through a military solution, and then implement their role now in the southern Cameroon. That is the mission. If you read the war, that's what they are doing. And to me, they are not seeing the future, that it is impossible to win that war, because the dynamics are changing every day. the government needs to just be humble enough to accept that they cannot win this war militarily. You must go to the dialogue table. Of recent, we have not been able to, we heard of the Swiss talk. The government has not been clear whether they are for it or they are against it. They have just been playing around.
Are you aware that government policy states that they don't negotiate with terrorists? There's
no,
a Cameroon definition.
That's another issue.
The Ambazonians guys are.
That's another issue that will hamper the resolution of the conflict. Because in order to resolve an armed conflict, you don't begin to give names to the other party. If not, if you begin to give the name, mean that you're prolonging the process of the conflict, of resolving the conflict. You don't give them names. Who is a terrorist? These guys are not terrorists. These guys can be committing acts of terrorism, but they are not terrorists. If you look at the Geneva Convention, they don't define it. They are armed, non-state armed men. They are not terrorists. The government should not be confused between people who commit acts of terrorism and then classify them as terrorists.
Okay.
Even the military commit acts of terrorism at times, and you cannot consider them as terrorists. So
both sides have been chasing, accusing finger. This side call this side terrorist, this side call this side
that's why there has to be a mediator. There has to be somebody who is not, who comes in the middle to hold both extremes together, so that we can now see an end to the end of this conflict. If not, we'll keep killing ourselves until we don't know when.
Hi Javis, I am John from Germany. Nigeria might like to help stabilize the southwest and northwest, but Nigeria itself is not stable. A peaceful southwest and northwest region will benefit only the people of southwest and northwest, not Nigeria or the Yaoundé government. Max, hello Javis, good panel. If Biafrans and Ambazonians come together, then they will be more fruitful in comparison to both states. Both states coming together. We cannot count on old guards. Max from Germany. Ms. Angalim, I want you to, we are slowly out of time, but we have about 10 minutes or so. I want us to look at these issues now from a different perspective. You heard Dr. John Ako pointing the fact that the visit the Ghana National Dialogue field, but the visit of the different stakeholders to the Prime Minister ahead of the Ghana National Dialogue was just political visit. Will you agree with that? Because we've seen civil society organization with the Prime Minister prior to this dialogue.
Yeah, I think Dr. John Ako is being very polite to call it a political meeting. To me, it was a non-event because, you know, Javis, this is a conflict between two sides. One side is the southern Cameroons and the other side is the government of Cameroon. And when Paul Biya read his speech and said the Grand National Dialogue, Mr. Nziwum, yeah, Mr. Nziwum, you put it rightly, that the meeting was going to be about resolving the southern Cameroon's problem. It was evident that the pre-talks or the pre-negotiation was supposed to be done by the two sides to the conflict. Before reading that speech, he had identified one party to the conflict, and he recognized that he was another party to the conflict. So there was no other reason to go talking to his friends to set whatever they wanted to set up, because never did Prime Minister Dion Gute invite Ayabacho of the Ambazonian Governing Council, or Sisiku of the IG, or Akwanga Ebenezer of the Sokadev. None of these people were invited. So he was not trying to resolve the war that was ongoing. He was simply playing to the gallery. So to me, it was a non-event. And we should always remember that when we want to solve a crisis, a conflict, war that is taking human lives and costing a lot of money, we should be serious about it. What they did was nothing. I hear you talking about accelerated decentralization. For heaven's sake, what is accelerated decentralization? In the 1990s, all Anglophone conferences, people asked for a minimum of a federation.
Ms. Angalim.
In 2009,
Ms. Angalim.
In 2003, they asked for complete independence.
I don't know if you can get me.
They asked for complete independence.
I don't know if you can get me.
Telling them that their solution is on decentralization and accelerated decentralization. I just think that this is an insult to people's intelligence.
I don't know if you can get me. Will you disagree that it's accelerated decentralization? Because last time, 1996, it was decentralization. After the Grand National Dialogue, it was rebranded to accelerated decentralization. We now have the House of Chiefs and the rest, so it's not accelerated.
You have used the right word, branding. All Yaoundé does is branding, sloganeering, pushing people to sweet words, capturing people's attention with words that have no meaning. What is decentralization? We're talking about accelerated decentralization. What is that? People are asking for their right to self-determination. They chose to join because of the conditions that the United Nations gave. They chose to join. Staying there should be their option. Living should be their option. Redefining the staying function should be their option. So the Grand National Dialogue, to me, was a non-event because it was one party talking to itself and the other party was completely absent. If we want to talk, let us get serious. Let us get an independent third party to mediate the talks and ensure that the resolutions can be enforced by the United Nations. This is a problem that was caused by the international community and should go back there for solution. By the way, Paul Biya and the government of Cameroon have decided to rid themselves of any opportunity of resolving this problem as it is.
Dr. Ako, John Ako, I will have really love us to have this discussion, but hopefully next week Sunday I want us to look at 50 plus years after independence. Why don't we still have a law school in Cameroon? We could be stopping it, but first I want us to look at what's the way forward for this alliance and possibly way forward that Cameroon government can handle this alliance for it to work.
We don't need to handle the alliance. I will tell you that it's there is little or nothing on the crisis, and Southern Cameroonians know where their forces are coming from. They know where their resources are coming from. They know how they have been cheated, and the government of Cameroon is aware. If there's a need to solve the problem, if there is a need to invest billions, it is to develop Southern Cameroon. We are just being told, and sometimes we said, when you find what we call the National School of Administration in NAM, you have to go through the papers of the concours and see the type of questions that have been asked on those papers for Southern Cameroonians to answer. You look at the school, the police school. We spoke sometime a year of the University of Boya and a lot of those issues. We have about 6 dams constructed in Cameroon. None has been constructed in any of this region. Now we are talking of the CDC. We can imagine how many billions government is putting in for Cameco to work. We know how many billions government has been putting in for the autoroute Douala Yaoundé. We know of autoroute Nsimalen Yaoundé. And which of these projects have been earmarked in the northwest and the southwest region? So the only issue, if we need to invest billions, is to make Southern Cameroonians feel like Cameroonians. Is to make Southern Cameroonians feel belonging, not at any one point giving them the idea that really you don't belong here. We needed to talk after 50 years for the head of state to appoint a Southern Cameroonian son to the level of the Minister of Territorial Administration. We needed to shout and kill people for him to appoint a daughter of ours to the post for secondary education. We are still thinking that there will be time when the Southern Cameroonians need to host the office of the Secretary General at the Presidency of the Republic. We need to see, like in America, they'll tell you that the preamble of the Constitution of that nation in 1776, they tell you that every human being was born equal in dignity and in right the moment you are born American, meaning you have the right to everything. And that is how the nation is built. Not one which is orchestrated and manipulated by the government at every point. We have Sonara in Limbe, but you have SADC in Douala, Bafoussam, North, and Yaoundé. None of those petroleum depots is found in Bamenda or in Boya. You see that it's a total ball game. Economically, politically, they earmarked and take away everything. If we need to go positive, I continuously saying that Cameroonians should learn to be positive, be honest and sincere for what you do for the nation. For you remember, there was this American president said, ask not what your nation has done to you, but what you have done for the nation. People build a nation. There is never a nation without a people. And we need to have this belonging. That the moment the name Cameroon is sounded, I belong. But not when the name Cameroon is sounded and you still tell people that I'm a Southern Cameroonian, meaning they don't belong. We need to do those things that bring people together rather than spare or despair them or keep them apart.
We are out of time. Before we take leave of you, Mr. Suleiman from Kumba, your last word.
Yeah, my last word is that this government has failed us and there is no remedy. They call for grand dialogue. The delegates from the Norway and Southwest said they want federalism. He was dumped into the dustbin of history up to today.
Left.
Nobody talked about him.
Some people abandon.
Secondly, now we are talking about a relation between Nigeria and Cameroon. Southern Cameroonians want political freedom. They are dominated. They are subjugated. The same thing, the Biafras want political freedom. They want political power. They have been marginalized. No Igbo man has ruled Nigeria from 1960 up to today. They want political power, and nobody wants to give them. They say they should go for rotational presidency. They say it is undemocratic. So that is the problem. So all what I have to say is that this government has bad faith.
Government of the people, by the people, and for the people.
The government of the Republic has bad faith. They don't respect, they don't see Anglophone as an integral part of this country. They have relegated us to the background.
By the definition of a government means you too, you are fair the nation.
No, I'm not a policy maker. I'm not a decision maker. I'm not a lawmaker.
That's before we take leave of you.
Yes, I want to say that, to be frank with you, nothing good will come out of that alliance. And to say again that we have a government that has, for 39 years, instead of COVID-19 in Cameroon, we should be talking about COVID-19 in Cameroon. That has, for 39 years, spent all the time bringing us slogans that always end up as window dressing. So what I think can lead Cameroon out of this quagmire now is, I challenge the government to take the Southern Cameroonians to a referendum if they have a good faith, and then let the people decide what form of state they want. That will be the outcome.
Mr. Anu, before we take leave of you, your last word. This is your first time to participate on House of Commons.
Yes, my last word, I buy into the idea of Mr. Emmanuel. The government, we know they cannot go to that extent because they will know the outcome of a referendum if they try that. So we are just, when we keep singing that the government should be sincere, come down from the high horse, dialogue, negotiate, whatever with people who are the stakeholders in this conflict. Anything short of that, we'll keep fighting and killing ourselves to God knows when.
Thank you. Dr. Ako, John Ako, your last word before we take leave of you.
Yeah, what I'm saying is I continue lauding the efforts of those who believe very sincerely that Southern Cameroon has been marginalized and trying to restore what they have been losing for the past 60 years. And I believe very strongly that the belief of Southern Cameroonians is that liberty, the liberty they seek for, no matter how it may last, but hopefully it will come to stay. And that the Cameroonian political elites, those who believe that they rule and talk better than we do, should take proper decision to handle the issues of Cameroon. The nation belongs to us all, and that every time, anytime, we may leave the nation. But what legacy are we going to leave behind? History is read of what men have done to their nation, not what the nation has done to those men.
The word accelerated decentralization does not exist anywhere in the Oxford and Cambridge dictionary. I think the person who created that word is the same person who created the voices in the bushes, Gilbert in Yaoundé. Mr. Galim, before we take leave of you, your last word, briefly.
Yeah. Yes, Jarvis, I think the solution, we should not sit here on set and define the solution and tell them what to do. I think we should give more opportunity to a process that can lead to the solution. And this process, in my humble opinion, passes through mediation and negotiation between the two sides with a credible third party within to ensure that the decisions arrived at during this negotiation and mediation process is enforced at the international level by the international system. Because whatever is happening between Cameroon and Southern Cameroon is not entirely an internal affair. It's an international problem because it stems from the decolonization process that was handled by the United Nations. So a solution at this point must be a process that moves, especially through dialogue and negotiation and around the table. We should avoid sitting on the table on set and prescribing solutions because any method can get there and the solution will still come back to backfire. Let's say we organize a referendum and the ELECAM is the one organizing the referendum. How are we sure that the referendum is going to be organized or who are going to vote in the referendum? So let us give the process an opportunity, a chance, and then the process by the two parties, the representatives, defining the solution to the...
Thank you. If you want to be a panelist, if you want to participate in our subsequent discussion, you can contact me on the number on your screen. We welcome you to participate on our program. This program comes up every Sunday at exactly 12 to 1:30, rebroadcast Sunday, 10:30, rebroadcast Monday, 9:30 p.m. It will be on our YouTube channel. BT Media Group is our YouTube channel. When you subscribe to our YouTube channel, you get all of our programs at My Media Prime. I'll leave you with this: no matter the matter, what matter is your matter. No matter the matter, what matter is your matter. And what should matter for you out there is that I go jere you na for last hour. My name is TAH MAI JAVIS from Cameroon's economic capital Douala, Fengudong, Bange, Koto Bonamusadi. Bye-bye.